good? This OBS window is kind of broken. Let's see here. You just closed. Use the view docs. There we go. All right. Let's see what's on the list. Continuing down the road of porting this game. It's not really a port anymore, it's more like a rebuild, I guess you could call it. It's just a rebuild that's exactly the same. Land and roll, I guess I could do that. Ground enemies, that's rough, I gotta do this first. Fighting enemy ship pilots, maybe I could do that. Switching levels, prevent enemy ships from being active until they're in the area. Player jetpack fuel. Oh right, so I'd make them go at a constant speed until they hit a wall, and then that's when they actually go. That kind of seems reasonable a little bit. That'll allow for some level design, but I guess I don't want to do level design yet, so I'm not even going to bother with that. I did do the cutscenes. The message boxes, is that what I did on Friday? Or did I do something else specific? I could also do sound effects. I wonder if I still have the old sound effects. Let's import them just to see. All right. Sound effects. All right. Punch pilot. Nice. All right. Let's get that all in here. SFTX sound effects. I have 3 punch sounds, so that's a little randomized. They all have almost the same. That one has a big, more of a lead in. All right. All right, so this would go under like player. What's another folder? Player ship. Could that be any ship or player ship? Test. Big explosion, big ship damage. Life up or save person. Life up. Ship explode. Big ship damage. Big explosion. I wonder what that is. Alright, so I'm gonna go do a BGM folder here. Go. SFX, and then other SFX will go here. Bullet hit, coin sound, long explosion, shoot player. player ship. Ship engine high, ship engine normal. Should probably stick to my naming convention of folders. And these are all waves. It's kind of a loop. Oh, it's supposed to sound better. Let's see what big explosion is. I do not remember what that is from. Maybe the boss. Big shit damage. Huh. Can't remember. This is classic. I'm never using that. I don't think so. Stop looping. Long explosion. Wasn't the other one long? That was big explosion. Alright. Ship explode. Where did I get this stuff? So I think this is the basic ship, oops. The basic ship shooting sound. And this is when an enemy gets hit. Yeah, I don't know what that is. All right, well, I'll work with it. Yeah, that's kind of that ambient engine sound that's always there that you never really hear. Okay, so I guess I can make anything be like an audio playing entity of some kind. I guess I don't care about 3D audio right now. Just thinking about it. Message box trigger. These are all kind of tests. I should probably make those prefabs if I haven't. Or I guess I don't have to. They're more like level design things. Doesn't really matter. I do know that when they trigger, they're supposed to die though, which I think they do. Okay. So where are the bounds for this? Does this have a box collider? Why is it never showing box colliders? Box collider. Supposed to. Right, there's that box collider. Yeah, something about the camera. Okay. Sound effects, I guess. Sound effects. All right. Makes noise. Noise maker. How about that? So this thing is going to have audio source. Type of. Does this make sense? I guess I can just tell it to play the clip. How's this any different from just attaching an audio source to anything? Right? All it's doing is doing an audio source. Yo, what's up, man? You ever always wonder, like, what a good approach is to do audio in Unity, and I always end up just doing the dumbest thing, which is, how do I connect to an audio channel? What do you mean? Oh. You can just call me on Discord. I'm guessing that's what you mean, I don't know. Okay, so the player ship is already has an audio source. What is up?
Bro.
How's it going? What you working on?
Your audio is really like low on Twitch. Like,
Oh, is it? That's weird. It shouldn't be. Oh, I can hear myself in your office.
Yeah, dude. There's so much lag.
Yeah, it's about, I don't know, 10 seconds maybe. I don't know why. I can never figure out why. Yeah, it's about, I don't know why. Maybe that's better. I don't know. Like, is it supposed to go into the red zone in OBS? I feel like it's not. Is it supposed to go?
Fuck, dude. I don't know when to answer you.
Just mute Twitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Mute Twitch. Just mute. The entire. There we go. That's better. Can you say something?
I can.
Okay, all right, good. I can still hear you.
Okay,
Awesome.
good. So the idea is that, right, so is it supposed to go in the red zone on OBS? Because I feel like that means it's loud.
When you're talking?
Yeah.
I think the goal is to try to stay out of the red zone.
Right, so I set the gain so that my volume is always in the yellow. Actually, like now it's always in the yellow. I don't know. If I snap my fingers, it goes red.
I mean, it sounds really, really good on Discord, but like really loud on Discord, but on Twitch, it's like super low.
That's weird.
Yeah. I can hear your keyboard more than I can hear your voice.
Maybe your browser volume's turned down or something? I don't know.
I can't change the actual volume of my browser.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Today Today has been just a fucking day of bullshit, man. Like it's like you're trying to work on a project and it's at every turn there's an obstacle. At every single fucking turn.
Yeah, man.
It's ridiculous. I have like I'm I don't even like so many different two-step verifications that I had to verify that I had one Google account that I couldn't even log into at all.
It doesn't have a backup email to another Google account?
No, dude. It's like, okay, so either I can use the device that I logged into last, the phone that I had last, or some fucking device that I had set up that I had never used. So like I had none of my like recovery devices, and luckily I was able to find an old computer that I used to log into this account with that I was then able to get access to.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, because otherwise I would have had to wait for Google to like decide whether or not they're gonna help me to try and restore my account. Fucking fuckers.
Shoot sound.
And fucking
Let's
Firefox.
see.
Hi. Do I have to take Haley to work?
Just wrap this whole thing in
Oh shit!
here.
Yeah, it's just.
And
God.
Oh, he's live.
and
What the fuck? So it works if I type in this way. So if I type in the whole thing.
get the audio.
How fucking weird is that? Right? So if I type in the whole thing like this, it will be fine.
HTTPS.
But if I take it and I remove the www, and I copy and okay, so now it's working.
Whoa.
It wasn't fucking working before. Oh wait, I bet if I do this though, I take this one and then I do S.
Why would you do that?
I'm trying to figure out. See, now it's working. It doesn't redirect.
Oh, here we go.
If it's if the HTTPS isn't there,
Well, you don't have the.
then it doesn't even redirect to HTTPS. See, it's like the connection isn't secure.
What?
Yeah.
Are you guys just licensing or something?
It's only Firefox. Like
Weird.
Chrome, it works fine. So I could type in.
Well, maybe
See,
there's
and it
something.
redirects to HTTPS, and it's going to secure it. And then also, if I type in all of that redirects.
Why is it not?
Actually,
Yeah,
this
that
one
should
does
work.
not redirect to HTTPS.
Yeah. Alright, I gotta take Haley. I love you.
So now,
I love you too.
I'll be back and then I'll make dinner.
Fuck. Okay. What are you making for dinner?
It's chicken and vegetables.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. Did you see the scripts recompile?
I always see the scripts recompile. Like 100 times a day.
Okay, so what I'm seeing in Unity right now is this has happened like this has happened 10 seconds ago for you, right?
Yeah, probably. So what I need is...
You're doing adding audio?
Yeah, have you ever seen the scripts not recompile correctly?
Yeah.
So like here, there's no field for an audio
It's
clip.
not it's not just
Oh,
that
maybe
you
it's because I
don't-
didn't make it public also.
I've had it sometimes where I'd save a script and then come back to the editor and the entire like everything that I changed in the script was not applied.
Right.
So none of the code. It's so fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is gonna be shoot. And now, when I play, it's gonna shoot. Come on. Nope. Oh wait. It's playing it.
Well, hold on, I can't even see it yet. Like, now I can see it.
I hear the.
Wow, you actually got a lot done.
I hear the.
Dude, you have a null reference exception.
Yeah, that is like a null reference exception in the Unity editor, and I can't get it to go away. That's like a Unity exception. Yeah.
It's some editor script that you created. It's called.
No, not that I created, that Unity created.
Really?
Yeah. It has to do with the animator somehow.
That doesn't make any sense. I've never seen that error before.
Well, I've never closed the editor and reopened it in like weeks, so it just hasn't gone away. And every time I hit play, it comes back.
What are preview packages in use?
Oh, did I set this on this ship? Oh god, that's why that didn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know what that really means either. Like, I mean, I can look at show preview packages, and I guess it'll tell me.
Did you put the audio source on the wrong object?
Yeah, toolchain, win, Linux x64. Okay, I don't really care. Like, dismiss. I could say dismiss for now, but if I open Unity again, it'll come up again, so. See how, like, Unity just has all these bad features that you don't want?
Yeah. Awesome.
God, leave this prefab. Okay, so where's the player ship? Here it is. It has a shooter script. It has an audio clip that's going to be this. And when I press play, it's going to take 10 seconds before it starts. Application.reload. Hold on. Okay. There we go. Yeah, the game has a lot of the feature set is pretty much built out, except for like some of the really big stuff, like boss fights and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's probably gonna be like a.
Yeah, like a multi-stream thing. Yeah, like I tried to find like everything that I could do like within one stream. So I've done about like 12 streams maybe, and each about an hour or two. So try to find something that takes about an hour or two.
Have you gotten any like traffic, any people watching or?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been in and out.
Nice. Anyone like
It's
saying
it's
anything,
it's not.
any, suggestions and shit while you're working?
Well, I don't take any suggestions. I'm making the game the way it was originally.
No, I'm not,
Um,
not like. I'm just like, I'm saying like, has anyone like ever been like, oh, dude, you should do this, like make it do that way?
No, they just watch, and a lot of times people just like want to show off their own things or ask for help in something. So let's see. So I guess Destructible can have it too. Audio clip, destroy, sign. Yeah, that's when you know it's like, it's just, it never feels like the right way to do something. Messing with the .htaccess file.
Yeah. I feel like in 2021 we don't have to
destroy sound. Okay, so now let's add a destroy sound. Did I make it public? Probably not. Let's see, what's an explosion sound? Long explosion, ship explode. That sounds dumb. Big ship damage, big explosion. I thought I had one. No. What? Well, there's that too. Big ship damage. Guess I don't have an explosion sound. I guess I could just go with the hit sound then. So I guess I'll put that on the bullet. If a bullet hits something, what does it sound like? Yeah. That sounds good. Okay. So let's put an audio source here. Oh, if that's the case, can I just put it... Ah, that seems even better. Yeah, so it has an audio source, and that's it. And then the bullet, instead of the shooter, 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 shooter. Right, kill that. Bullet. This here. Put this. Where's awake? Doesn't have it. When it hits something, it does the same thing. Shooter here. Shoot sound, and then, oh wait, that's, put that in the start method. Alright, shoot sound, and then the hit, if, let's go hit sound. Hit sound. Expected something? What? Oh, what? Oh.
I tried to create a dynamic class.
What do you mean by dynamic class?
Dynamic class. So that a dynamic class, that you can create a dynamic class based on specific parameters. I failed.
You want to like create a class at runtime or something?
On demand. So let's say that you have this this custom class that has a bunch of different dictionaries that you can that are different types of dictionaries. So like you could have like a dictionary that was like a dictionary that is an int, dictionary that is a string, whatever, right? So then you have these methods inside this custom class that go something like add int property right? So then you give it a name, give it value, and then once you've added all of your properties, there's another method that then runs through all of the dictionaries that you've created, and then it goes and creates an actual class based on the properties that you've added, right? With a class name and a class type.
And now this class is available to instantiate.
Right. You can then instantiate an instance of this class. So I got lost in how to take it from like obviously an unknown like JSON string, right? Because a JSON string is a JSON string. If you've got just even one parameter of a JSON string in a class, it'll deserialize that one parameter that it can find. But you can't create just a class from a JSON string.
Why do you want to create a class?
Because you may not know what kind of object you're getting back. What?
I didn't say anything.
Oh. It's because I saw you move your mouth in the video, but
Oh yeah, don't pay attention to that.
yeah, no, I'm trying not to. But anyways, yeah, that was what I was doing like yesterday because I was trying to.
Because you don't know what kind of class you're gonna deserialize,
Right.
so you're just making up a class.
Dynamically, yes.
What do you? Is it gonna be named anything specific?
No.
Okay.
Completely dynamic.
Do you get to decide what to name it?
Yeah.
Who does?
Anyone.
Anyone. Okay, so it's a method of deserializing JSON into a brand new class.
That gets built based on the JSON string.
What if I deserialize the JSON string twice with the same class name?
Then it should create another iteration of that class. Or it should create another instance of that class.
You want it to create the class and then
No,
instantiate it, right? That's what you really want.
Right. Well, that doesn't matter. Once I know the class, right, so I should be able to take the JSON string and read it, right? Not deserialize it, but actually just, I guess, I would say deserialize it into a generic object and then iterate over the generic object to get the types. But then you wouldn't even be able to, like, how would you decipher? Like, let's say you have, in the JSON string, let's say you have a property called position, and that has X, Y, and Z, right? How would you know that that was meant to be a vector 3? Like, what would you do? You would have to write some sort of parser that says, hey, if this...
Yeah, you have to put some metadata or whatever.
Right. So if you, let's say that you find something like that and you say, all right, well, if there's an X and a Y and a Z, then it's definitely going to be a vector 3. That's what you're going to get back.
Sure, yeah.
I know, it's crazy, but like I see so many like use cases for that.
Can't someone just create the class they want and deserialize it?
They can. All right. So the way that I'm working on it is for the multiplayer server, obviously. So I'm trying to make it more easy for someone to send data. Right now, they have to build like a custom object, and that's good enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Create whatever object you want, and then what I have is I have another object called like custom object. That object gets an ID, and then or actually no, yeah, that object has an ID property, and then when you get your data back, you have to first create this custom object and then try to deserialize the data into that object, and then it'll give you the ID, and then based on the ID you know what kind of object you need to instantiate or basically deserialize, right? Because let's say you have a custom object for the player position and you have a custom object for the player properties like health and experience, and then another custom object for something else. you need to know what kind of custom object you're actually getting back, or it's getting sent to you, right? So you have to have something to be able to tell. So my idea was if there was a way to generate custom classes based on the actual data that you're getting in the JSON, then you could not have to worry about what kind of object you get back because it gets created on the fly.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, that was my idea. It's probably not going to work, but
I feel like it's so easy enough just to know exactly what type of object to expect if you know like you're listening for a specific event, you know what to deserialize it to.
no, not really. If it's custom though, and you have different custom objects, then you have to have some sort of ID to know
What's
type
custom?
Custom, dude. Custom is anything you want to send. It could be a class that has.
Yeah, but you're the one sending it, so you should know what the structure looks like.
You are the one sending it. But what if you're sending two different types of custom objects?
Then you have two different classes that represent each one.
Right, but how do you know which one it's going to be? When you get that data.
Because you wouldn't send them to the same event.
Yes, you would. You would send them as a custom data event.
Why? Because it's just key values.
Right.
Oh, just have the person receive key values in the response, and then they just have to pull them out themselves. In the event, I mean, have the event data just be key values, and then they do whatever they need to with that. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's easy. What is up, David Wynn Sands? David Wynn Sands. I'm saying it all as one word because it's all lowercase.
Maybe it's Win DeSands.
Checking YouTube vids. Thanks, man. Yeah. I think I saw you join the Discord server also, right? Yeah, so right now I am taking a game. I want to do that Gradius game. Yeah, right now I'm taking a game similar to the one I did the YouTube series on. You can see it has like the same ship art, but it's from the actual original game that I made like 8 or 9 years ago that I actually never finished, and I did it on iOS. And yeah, so now I'm porting it to Unity. Just as a project to do. Actually, this kind of all started because a friend of mine started this other project. It's he's building what he calls crypto console, which is basically trying to create, if you're familiar with the landscape of cryptocurrency and NFTs, he wants to make NFTs that represent playable games. So this is going to be once this is done, I'm going to release it on his platform so that people can download them as NFTs to be playable games that way. So if you're a game developer, anybody, he's still looking for more game developers to have more games for launch when he officially launches. I think it's cryptoconsole.xyz. But yeah, that's why I started this. So yeah, cool. Yeah, let me know if you have any issues when you're going through the Gradius tutorial. More than happy to answer any questions. Sometimes I have guests on the stream. Right now I'm with Chris. He's working on his own Unity project at the moment. for a multiplayer server that he's building. So we were just talking about data serialization. All right, I am trying to get sound effects working. I mean, they work, and it's not too difficult. But just playing the right sounds at the right time. Doesn't seem like it's I just don't hear the sound effect. So bullet hit enemy. It's like it's not playing. Maybe it's like too short of a sound or something. A while. Like I said, this was actually one of the first big projects I did when I first... Oh, now Julio's calling. This is... Hold on just a second. Let me try to join him in.
Too much going on.
Let me try to join him in here. How do you add a person to a call?
To Discord?
Oh, here we go. That work?
I see him there.
I guess it's ringing him. Yeah. There we go.
There he is.
What's up, man?
What's up?
What's up, Julio?
What's going on, Chris? Long time.
Yeah, man. Been a while.
Yep. Oh man, what are you guys up to?
I'm up to the same thing.
Justin's just streaming and I'm just watching him, and I decided to join the audio so that I don't just sit there and listen to him. I think that's weird.
And that I don't just sit there and talk to myself.
You should totally do that. Like, have 2 streams. Each of you are streaming only half the conversation.
So somebody has to watch both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be weird if the audios were out of sync.
Well, this
Like,
is how you get
to a weird extent.
It's like hiding Easter. You can hide Easter eggs that way. It'll be in another video.
They'd be in sync though, wouldn't they? Like if anybody watched both streams at the same time.
I don't know, like if my audio were 5 seconds off and your audio was 3 seconds off, and then I said something and you said okay, and then I said something else, like somebody would hear me talk twice and then hear you say the middle thing.
Ridiculous.
You have a conversation. You should just use that lag to your advantage and just have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do to keep ourselves. I don't know. Distracted.
Occupied?
Yeah. No, I'm answering this guy's question. Yeah, it's just harder because it's so much easier to concentrate on games and have a conversation at the same time. But when you try to actually like build stuff and do programming, it becomes very difficult to have a conversation.
It's kind of why devlogs are kind of uneventful if they're done like just flat out devlog. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, so yesterday I did this, or it's not like super exciting. But it's like a whole niche thing where people do like that. You know what I mean? Much in the same way that people listen to ASMR, and that actually might even work in the better because you might have more retention that way, right? Like that audience likes to just have something playing in the background.
Wonder if I can have a separate audio. That would be annoying. Do I have to tell it to stop playing? Like audio dot stop.
So when
I imagine it did.
is that like coming up in the stream or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought you knew that.
No,
We can-
I thought because
otherwise I really would be talking to myself, like having a real full-blown conversation with myself on the stream.
You know, a lot of people on Twitch, I see them like they're just talking and there's no one on the other end.
That's true. They're talking to like the audience as if they were one person.
Right, but you
So hey guys, I was doing this. Yeah.
but you don't see anybody typing anything, so they're obviously having like, you know, a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ideal for like narcissists with like multiple personality disorder. They're just all day long. Just there are some people like there's this one, Trisha Paytas is like a huge freaking YouTuber, TikToker, or whatever. It's just like it's so annoying. Like just I can't even listen to like 20 seconds of any one of those videos because it's just nonstop. Like you're saying, like she's just talking, like she's having a full-on conversation, but with herself about herself. But we can do whatever we want, and it's all Justin's fault.
True.
Let me play this big sound effect. Alright. Ship. Enemy. Big explosion. I think something's wrong with like the audio clip, or like it just can't play another sound
Justin.
quickly.
When you finish this game,
No, it's not playing. Huh. It's like the audio source can't play. Oh, is it because? Oh, I'm so dumb. It actually is because the thing gets destroyed. So I
trying
have
to do something with the thing after you destroy it.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to like play the audio.
But you destroyed it.
No, it's not getting destroyed. I mean, it's getting destroyed.
Yeah, but the audio source is on this object, and I'm destroying it.
Yeah, but you're not using destroy immediate, so it should, like.
Well, destroy immediate. It will hang around for the end of the frame.
Destroy should not destroy it if it's still got things it's got to do.
Apparently not.
Playing audio.
Why can't you just
Why-
destroy it after?
Why are you playing?
Because I don't want. You know what?
Don't play it in the bullet. Play it in the ship.
Yeah, but the ship gets destroyed too sometimes, right? So
Not
Well,
the ship that's hitting.
here's what I think I'm gonna do. Here's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this so that whenever you play a sound, it instantiates an audio source game object that then kills itself when it's done playing.
Yeah, that works.
Could work too.
A sound
I was
effect.
gonna suggest, what if you just made this little like on hit element, like a little splash, even if it's just like a particle thing, and that is what plays the sound.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's kind of what I have that actually. I have the explosion, but now actually this is way better because I don't have to manually go around putting audio sources on things and telling them specifically how to handle playing audio. I can just always say like generate this new audio, right? So public static.
What, it has like a callback on finish function or something?
It will now.
Dude, I think you should just look back on your Coco's 2D code and see how you're doing it there.
No, man. I don't even think I had these sounds instantiated then. I don't remember. You know what? No, I was using, it was different because I was only using one global audio source, and that's why it was working. Right? It was using Cocos. What was that sound library called? I forgot. But you could just say like play sound effect, and it would play it, and it would keep track of like, you know, all of its audio channels and stuff like that. I can do the same thing here. That's what I did with like my audio library, but I really like what I'm about to do. I've never done this before, so, and I think it's gonna be cool. Create sound effect.
How do you really like something you've never done before you've done it?
I like the idea of it. It's like people who never fall in love. They like the idea, but then, jeez.
I guess most of us love being rich even though we're not.
I like the idea of money.
Yeah.
Well, having money, I guess.
It's like with my luck, when I become rich the day after, we're like, all money is abolished, and like the whole world is like
Yeah.
non-monetary.
That would definitely happen.
That's the luck I have.
I mean, I guess it still kind of works out as long as the world is in a good place. It's like the apocalypse is coming. I guess we should abolish all money.
Yeah.
I want to be a millionaire, and then by the time you become a millionaire, it's completely irrelevant. Like,
Yeah.
a chicken costs $100,000.
Yeah. Or they just migrate to a different currency. It's like, yeah, that's V1. We use V2 money now.
Sorry.
And then like global blackout.
Can I just instantiate? Yeah, new game object. There we go. So I don't need a prefab. And then add component.
So Justin, with that ABI, the only thing I have an issue now is with the big number. The format of the hex string, for some reason, it's not liking it.
Why don't you just put that script on a prefab and then instantiate the prefab?
Because that way I don't need it, the prefab.
Just saying it would be easier and you wouldn't have to write any code.
Yes, I would. I still have to write the other code. All I'm doing is attaching.
Instantiation.
All I'm doing is attaching a component.
All right, man.
Just watch, bro. Watch.
All new code grumps. Next,
play clip.
next gen.
Play. Whatever. Yeah, play. And then. Why did I add that twice? I want to add the audio source and this script itself. And then that's pretty much it, and tell it to play. So this is the audio source. Or no, I don't have to do that. I can just set on start. Well, I need the clip. And this way nobody can randomly instantiate audio clips without going through the code.
Yeah, but they also have to. Oh, but you're gonna set it to one thing. So you're gonna add this to the bullet, and that one audio clip's gonna be the bullet sound, I guess.
Sure, yeah. So that's gonna play the clip if the clip exists, which I don't know why it wouldn't. You know what? I'm just gonna make sure that it does. And then it's gonna say started playing.
How are you? What are you doing? How are you gonna play the audio play in the start method when you haven't when you haven't added the audio source component yet?
I added it down here when I first instantiated it.
Where?
I guess you have to wait. In the play method.
Yeah. When does the play method get called?
Whenever I want.
Right.
See, this is a static method, right? Which means, so then I just instantiate a new game object into the hierarchy, give it this script and the audio source. So once it awakens, it finds the audio source. On start, it plays the audio clip, which I have to set. So that I need effect.clip. And if started playing, if audio dot is playing. If not is playing, I guess that means it's done, then destroy. That seems right.
Would you say that is a better approach than just saying if started playing and audio dot is playing is false?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It probably ends up getting compiled to the exact same.
Mhm.
Although I don't know. But yeah, I could do and this if I really wanted to.
Just wondering. I win.
Okay. So now, right, in any other script,
Get rid of those curly braces too.
let me see.
Dang, you got one line there.
You know what? I don't do that anymore.
I know, it's confusing.
Yeah. Fix your collar, will you?
No, it's not confusing at all. You know why?
Why?
Because, like, more than half the time, I end up having to change the logic to be more than one line, and then I have to go back and add the curly braces, and that's annoying. So what I can do here is not even worry about audio sources anymore. Not shooter, but I guess I can do it on bullet. When you shoot a bullet, so let's get rid of audio clip and audio source. Actually, I still need the audio clips, right? So hit sound and shoot sound. So if there's a shoot sound, then I should be able to do sound effect dot play shoot sound. Sound effect dot play hit sound. What? The project contains scripts or assemblies that use obsolete APIs?
Dude,
I made it back up. Go ahead.
your age is showing.
What exactly did you just add that was out of date?
I don't know. Probably instantiating a game object with new. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of.
Probably shouldn't be doing that.
Why not?
Because it's inherited from mono behavior, and they don't like it when you do that.
What's inherited?
The game object inherits from mono behavior.
Yeah, I know. That's what I want.
I know. You don't have to specify new.
Alright, hold on. Where is the game? Project is already open. Where is it? Okay. All compiler errors have to be fixed. API updating failed.
Oh.
Ugh.
Oh no, he's gonna die.
What is happening now? Okay, component audio is obsolete. Component.audio is obsolete. Property audio has been deprecated. Audio source.
Wow.
Wait, what? I'm confused. Oh. So I was still grabbing the audio source here. And then save that. And then this thing. I don't need audio source here anymore. And then destroy sound. I want to do that here. So this is going to be sound effect play that. So there was actually nothing wrong at all. And you guys are just sitting there doubting me.
You know, you live and you learn.
Yeah. I hope nobody was watching this stream just now. It was really loud. All the sound effects worked perfectly. It's exactly what I wanted. All right, but now I have to change bullet to change its destroy sound to just
From
be.
to brew.
This isn't cat team.
How did you do the flicker animation? Did you just write that by hand?
Yeah, why? Yeah, that's coded. I just every
Put a timer
frame.
and then. Okay.
Yeah, I do it on every frame. If
Would you
the
like you ping pong its opacity?
the I don't do I do the opacity? Yeah, I think I do the opacity. I was gonna do the just do this enable disable on the sprite renderer
Right over.
component,
Yeah,
but
like
then
every
I figured like if anybody else is trying to access it might break. So then I just did the color and set the alpha value 0, 100, 0, 100, 0, 100. Yeah.
I see. On every frame?
Yeah. So I just did it to the opposite, right? If it's 0, set it to that. If it's that, set it to 0.
It's interesting.
And then once it's done, reset it to 1 just in case it's still 0.
Well, if you only set it to iterate a certain number of times, you should always be good, right?
An even number. Yeah, you could do that, but then that's based on frames. Then you'd want to do it based on a timer, but then you'd have to. But you can't know that a timer is going to take an even number of frames.
Well, you don't. It doesn't matter because the code is changing the opacity based on its frame. So as long as it starts at 100 and ends at 100, it doesn't matter what the frame rate is.
Yeah, but you don't know how many times it's going to flicker.
Well, that's why I was saying if you set it to a certain number of times, you'll never have that problem, right? But then I guess it's not as adaptable to other things.
If it's a certain number of times, then it's going to be
You're always gonna
shorter or
start-
longer if the frame rate's higher or lower.
Okay. But everything else will be lagging too, right? So it would make sense.
No, it wouldn't lag, and everything else would. Or would it?
Wait, why would it? Why wouldn't it also slow down?
No, nothing else would be lagging. If the frame rate drops to like 30, right? It takes. If you set it to take 60 frames, right?
Okay.
At 60 frames per second, everything happens at the same speed overall as when the game's running at 30 frames per second, right? Because it's all based on delta time. So if you say that something should happen 60 times, at 60 frames per second, it's going to happen in 1 second, and at 30 frames per second, it's going to take 2 seconds.
I get what you mean, but what I was saying is that, like, okay, so if you didn't have it set like that and you had it, like, relative to everything else, and you had that drop from 60 to 30, you would see that drop also in the other elements of the game as well, though, no?
Yeah.
So it would be weird if, like, the one thing had, the lag had no effect on, but everything else it did. That's what I was saying. But I get what you're saying also.
Yeah, that's why you use the delta time. Otherwise, you'd have to like make sure that your game ran perfectly at a specific frame rate all the time. And pretty sure that's what like older games actually did and expected, especially like arcade games, right? Because
Yeah,
they could just like write the stuff directly into the hardware, and like and that's why a lot of them had that, where like a lot of stuff started appearing on the screen and everything would slow down.
Yeah. I've had that happen for sure. But
think
now, like, people can freaking soup up their video cards and do like 200 frames per second at like 120 hertz refresh rate
Mm-hmm.
on like 4K TV. Change the color of the bar, bro. Oh no, you didn't.
The color of the bar?
I hadn't seen it filled white before. I always saw it that red to yellow gradient.
Which? Oh, that one. The power up.
Yeah. I don't know what that bar is for. The bottom bar.
Yeah, yeah. Like you'll see when I shoot stuff. You know what? I might actually put the shooting on the I might take the advice and put the shooting on, not on the bullet, but on the ship. Or on the gun.
Oh.
No, not on the gun either, because each gun shoots a bullet. It's only because
Jesus.
when I have a power up,
Yeah.
then I shoot 2 bullets at a time, and each one of them plays the sound effect, so it's like twice as loud.
So if you think about it in terms of real life, the sound from shooting a bullet comes from where the bullet comes from.
Yes.
So you can't
Well,
shoot the gun after you shoot the bullet.
Wait, what?
The gun will remain after you shoot the bullet.
The gun will remain after you shoot the bullet, sure, yeah.
And then if the gun gets blown up after it shoots the bullet, who cares? Because there's going to be a whole another explosion sound.
Cover it
Well,
up.
it doesn't matter because each sound is now its own game object.
Which I guess makes the most sense because like in reality it's neither the gun or the bullet that makes the sound. It's like the world.
So you're going to have to implement the Unity physics engine.
Why would I... Wait, what do you mean? Audio physics?
Yeah.
The entire world's yeah.
I don't think that's part of the physics engine, though. There's no such thing, right? Oh, sound acoustics. That should be a thing.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Especially if you had like a visualizer stuff, yeah.
Like their audio engine does a lot.
As you found because you've made one from scratch.
So then why don't you have an audio listener in your world, or an audio source in your world, that you just send audio clips to?
Because then every time I play another clip, it would cancel the first clip. So I'd have to have an audio listener that has like 100 sources, and then it just like constantly, it has almost like a little circular queue of which one should play next.
A queue of sound events.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to queue the sound events because then if like they're all busy, then the sound has to wait, and then you hear the sound off from whatever happened.
True, you should be able to have some parallel processing in your sounds, right?
Yeah, that's why I said like it would have multiple audio sources, which you can do,
Yeah.
and then it would constantly change. It would increment which audio source is supposed to play next.
Right. So you could, technically what you could do is you could design an audio source with, basically you just call it multiple channels, and then whenever you want to
Yeah.
play a sound, you just find one that's not playing currently and then send a clip to it.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Problem solved.
But my problem's already solved because each sound effect is its own audio source and its own game object.
But this is a nicer solution, I think.
Is it nicer? I like mine.
Is it nicer than not having to do anything else?
That's actually what I did when I wrote my audio library.
What's that?
I did what we just talked about with having the multiple audio source channels.
Nice.
It had 10 channels, which I guess was enough because I never seemed to need more than that. And then it had 2 background music channels because I had to be able to play 2 at the same time so that they could fade into each other.
Imagine programming on like an older computer like the Commodore that only had like 4 voice channels. You could only play 4 sounds at a time.
Couldn't you only play 4 tones at the same time? So like if you wanted to actually have like a sound effect,
Right.
you'd probably have to use multiple channels just for that.
Yes.
Were they different? Did they have different properties?
You could assign different properties to them, you know.
To make like square waves? Or
Exactly. Yeah.
that's pretty crazy. I can only imagine The
Otherwise, they would have never had these great like audio tracks that they had on like Gianna Sisters and Lazy Jones and
Cannibal.
Cannibal. Cannibal sounds pretty good on the Commodore. No,
It does. It has the whole background music.
Yeah. What it doesn't have is the background parallaxing.
Oh right, yeah. That's probably a little too much.
Yeah.
Well, it,
Dude, it's already 5:30, man. I gotta go.
oh man. All right, cool. Catch you later, dude.
All right, take care, man.
Later.
Party time.
Yeah. Now that he's gone, woo! Actually, I guess that's tomorrow,
Sure, yeah.
or whatever other day we decided on. I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
I don't know if we did or not. I don't remember.
Tuesday or
But it'll
Wednesday
probably be right after Sky Hero.
stream.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's see. I got sound effects working in a way that I actually like. I never thought to do it this way until today.
The way you were describing, making them their own thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the way that I did it in when I had bullets was, and this was because it was kind of structured like this. So I kind of just took it from something else. But it was like the player had there was a player class and a bullet class, and the bullet self-destroyed, and the bullet handled the bullet sounds and destroyed itself after.
Yeah, but how were you playing the sound?
Through the bullet.
What was handling playing the sound? Like, does Phaser have like, does Phaser have like a sound playing engine where you can just pass audio sound effects to?
Well, what you do is you load sounds. So like in preload, you load all your assets, which
Okay.
can be anything, HTML, images, sounds. And then once they're loaded in preload function, or you can async load them anywhere.
Right, so they are already separate from the objects.
Yeah, they're just sounds that exist ready to be used.
Yeah, okay.
You
So
just load them for use.
yeah, if I had it set up that way, I could have done it. I could have done it also. The problem was that what I was trying to do was have each object actually play its own sound. So each object had an audio source on it. Right? So like a bullet had an audio source, and any sound that a bullet wanted to play would play out of the bullet's audio source. But then when it hit something and it played the hit sound, it destroyed itself, so the audio source was gone, so the sound effect was no longer playing.
Oh, yeah, that is a little bit different.
So doing the thing that where you could have like a global audio player that had multiple audio source channels would be one way to do that.
Well, it just loads it for use. So like in the bullet class, I still had to create a new audio element and then feed it the same key.
Yeah, but at least it was loaded. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I trigger that play and destroy and all that stuff.
So now having it so that when you want to play a sound effect, it generates its own game object that kills itself once it's done playing the sound, because it has its own audio source. So I can have as many audio sources now as Unity will support, I guess, without having to ever put audio sources on objects. And I can also tell them to have their position be wherever the object that loaded the sound effect was. So if I ever wanted the audio to be like stereo or 3D, I could technically do that too.
I see what you mean. To get the real experience, so you'd have to like put a microphone kind of element on the player.
Yes, you'd have to put an audio listener on the player. Right now the only audio listener is on the camera, so that's like the center of everything.
Right.
So putting stereo would only be like if it's on the right side of the screen, you'd hear it in your right ear.
Which could work because I'm sure a lot of games just
For
opt
2D,
out
that
for
would probably work well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what I wanted to ask is, when you're done with this game, did you want to try to make a simple one with the whole like NFT variable thing?
I probably will do that in this game, to some extent. At least try to like read the properties of it, just to see if they mean anything. I don't think they're gonna do anything.
Well, that's what I was saying. For it to basically be like,
You know what would be cool? At least read like the we could put a property in the NFT that's like number X out of 1,000, right? Almost like a collectible number, and then display it on the title screen. So that would be a good test.
that would be cool too, for sure. Um, but also just to see like just changing the game sprite. It doesn't actually have to read the NFT image data, even though, I mean, we've already done it with IPFS. It's pretty easy. If we make like a tile set or a sprite sheet and make that the NFT, and then basically that it just reads it from that, because you could even have like a sheet that has multiple sections of sprite sheets, if that makes sense. I mean, that one's a little bit more complicated, but I was thinking we could do something super simple, like, just reading the elements and changing the game. So we'd have like a simple platformer, make it to the end kind of thing, and the different attributes would change things, like your sprite color, maybe the background color.
I think it would be cool if you did a Zelda style, like Link to the Past Zelda style game
Okay.
that was procedurally generated, but based on a seed value that came from the NFT. So each NFT would have a different seed value that could be injected into the game to generate the world.
That's cool too. That's actually really
So
cool too.
it would generate like the dungeons, the
But that's
weapons
completely
and stuff.
that's completely irrelevant on the whole what the NFT actually is. That's more on just like the iteration. You could tie the seed to the iteration of NFT or like some other ID, its wallet address.
That's true too. Yeah, you don't need any specific properties.
Right. This was just to show that that would be a really cool thing for people to use, like, because it's just like people wanting those in-game purchases of buying like a new skin for their main character, except it's more custom because it's like, well, you don't get to change it afterwards. Like no one else has it. They're all one of a kind variations of the game.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing. So I was thinking starting with like a very, very simple game where like the game itself can be created, boom, quickly, right?
So what changes in the game?
Well, we can mess with that, maybe like, and we can start with just superficial changes.
Yeah.
Just changing sprites, something simple like that. Changing sprite sheets would be enough to be really cool.
You could also make a game where you can play it standalone, but if you connect it to your wallet, your NFT would be like a Game Shark code. So depending on which NFT you load with your connected wallet, and you could have multiple, it would like enable Game Shark style changes. Where like Game Shark would always have like, gain 1,000,000 experience after every battle, or like all your characters have big heads, or Game Shark was kind of wild like that.
Sure, and that's essentially the same thing, because we could make something like, if you have the gold shirt in that NFT, then
but
shirt...
in this way you can combine them multiple to the same game. Mix and match.
Well, I mean, what would be the difference?
I guess the difference would be like not every game is unique.
Because in that situation,
every game is like the base game that's always the same, and then you could apply all these. You could take if you were the one that held all the NFTs for this game, boom, it like you have every single whatever code activated.
Yeah, because in the end, that's what you're saying.
You could do
like that. You have the game is separate. It's not even about the game anymore, though. Separating, like the game is identical. Everybody can get this one game, but depending on how you link your NFTs expansion or whatever to the game, that's how it changes it. So that does change it a little bit.
You could also set it up to where every individual copy is one section of the game. That would be nuts too, where like you like have to play the first one and then the second one. And I guess you just have to convince, then literally only one person can play one section at a time. And when you play the second one, it'll look for save data from the first one.
That seems way more complicated.
It's not any more complicated.
Where will that save data be stored?
Locally.
And how?
Somewhere locally in a save file. Hopefully you don't lose it.
Well, I mean, your NFT is linked to your account.
Yeah.
If the whole point of this is accessibility, then you're kind of, cornering them.
Yeah. It's probably not a great idea in terms of like game distribution, but
I see what you're saying. There's definitely
Just
a lot
like-
of fun to be had with stuff like that.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
think
all.
it's also really important to find the identity of what Crypto Console is trying to do specifically,
Sure, yeah.
and like hit that full throttle, because then it's like the same issue of trying to appeal to everybody kind of thing.
Yeah. But again, that's kind of like another idea that I had, which was just like, as long as you can connect your game to a wallet, and NFTs are globally known, any game developer could always say, if a wallet has this NFT, make my game do this, right? So then you could set up, you don't have to, but you could set up an NFT platform specifically designed for this that would globally register everything with like simple, what would you call it? Almost like usernames for the NFTs, so that you could, so whoever creates it first, right? If I'm a guy who's creating a racing game and I say that this NFT represents, I mint an NFT and I say it represents an engine for a car, or a specific tune-up for a car, then anyone else making another game could say like, oh, okay, so if this person has this tune-up in their wallet, then they also, and I'm making like a fantasy game, then also make this sword more powerful. So that you could like have games with like cross game interactions like that, where like, and then it would work vice versa, right? If you're playing this other game and you unlock this sword power up, then you go back to the racing game and you automatically have the tune-up on the engine.
Yeah, but then that changes kind of. It changes it, because then no longer are the NFTs the actual games again.
No,
The
they're not.
NFT
No, this is a different idea entirely.
Yeah. This one, the NFTs are the power-ups. They're the upgrades, and then those are just read differently throughout the game,
Yeah, exactly.
which also works. Yeah, the whole thing about like choosing one way or like a more focused path is really just more about the marketing, because people would enjoy, in fact, both, but it's hard to like push and sell it when it's not one specific thing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to like run with some idea first, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with changing the idea later.
Well, it depends actually, because I mean, in theoretically, just for the sake of concept, of course, it's never going to be wrong. But in terms of like business, yeah, it's definitely led to some businesses going under.
Sure,
Some
yeah,
recent-
but it's also like, I mean, not evolving has also done the same thing. Is what I mean.
Sure.
Right? You got to realize when something's not working.
Yeah. Yeah, but you also can't explore for the sake of exploring.
No, that's not. No, yeah, I wasn't implying that either. Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. Because like Coca-Cola, I mean, it's strange, right? Because Coca-Cola, yeah, they changed their tactics, they changed their approach, but they're still Coca-Cola, they're still that soda brand. Nintendo had to pivot drastically several times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Shit like
Um,
that.
but at that point, it's like you could argue there are some situations where, like, is it even really the same company? It's like that fucking
I
ship
mean,
of
it
this.
is,
this
but you know, I mean, yeah,
you know what?
but
You know what I
that's like
mean?
a
Because a
really
company,
drastic change, right? When
but that's
you're using
like
that
companies like
example.
a concept. Yeah, like the whole axe handle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that Nintendo example was pretty drastic. Well, I mean, not really. What they like manufactured playing cards or something.
Yeah, exactly. But I
Um,
mean, Nintendo themselves, they're like 100 years old. You know, the company itself, if you want to look at it that way. But for me, I think like when they had to pivot, it was because of that. Like they even the way that they got into gaming was like kind of gradual. They started with like toys and stuff, and there's this one factory worker came up with like the Game and Watch, I believe, and that was like one of their first like intros into it. And then they started getting like ideas from everywhere in the company, which was really cool. So you had a lot of like lower level employees becoming like senior execs and stuff.
so it is like that's almost like a natural evolution. Um, of like going with the times.
Frito Frito Lay Frito was started because and he worked at like
Frito
what is it?
shot first.
It was like like a animal feed processing plant where they make these things with like out of like corn, right? There's an extruder at one part of the process in the factory, the machine, right? And a byproduct of this feeder is that a small slither strip of like this cornmeal extract starts coming out the sides, and the extruder is really hot, so it's kind of like cooking them as it extrudes. And there would be this cleanup always of this like this stuff, this just like flavorless corn crunchy product that just kind of like whizzes out, right? And they've cleaned it up and thrown it away, and like sometimes repurposed it back into the feed. Sometimes, and then one day, this factory worker grabbed like a bunch of it and took it home, and he was like this Mexican worker, and he mixed it with a lot of with like spices and stuff like that, and like. Actually, I might be getting this. This is how Flaming Hot was made, but how Cheetos was originally made was that factory worker at that company put some flavorings on it and seasonings on these like base Cheetos, I guess you'd call them, and like pitched it to the head of that company, and like they started it as like a side business, and it turned into like this whole big thing. And then again, it started all over again because the whole Flaming Hot, there was like a Mexican employee that grabbed these also based Cheetos and did Mexican spices on them that were like really spicy. And the CEO or whoever he showed really loved it, so that's how they incorporated that. And now he's also like some top executive, which is pretty wild. It's interesting. I guess it's just hard to tell. Because even just like doubting yourself on it can set you down the wrong path. Hey, so where can I definitively find a hex converter, like a number to a hex number converter?
Definitively?
Yeah, because I've used a bunch of different methods of trying to get a big number hex.
Oh, like a hex value.
But it has to be a big number object.
Is big number the JavaScript one or the Ethers one?
I tried both. and it didn't work for me. What is big number? Okay. Yeah, so ethers.fixed number from, that doesn't work. Big number. Big number from, and then we'll do the 0.001. And still no big number. Big number from, I don't know how to do it. We tried that big int. And big int is not it.
Guess it could be an explosion.
What?
Oh, nothing. I'm just thinking out loud, I guess. Wait, why is this the same as? Oh, wait. 3, 2, 3, 3. So this should be 2. There we go. And then 1. Okay. 2, 3. So I don't necessarily need muzzle flash player. Well, I'll just add explosion. And then add an animation to it. Animator. Muzzle flash. And what else does an explosion have? Sprite renderer, and that's it. That doesn't need anything else. Get rid of that, and then I can do an event. So let me go here. Animation.
What is a unit 256?
Uint 256.
Unit. That's right.
I think that is more or less a big number. It's a 256 byte integer. No, 256 bit, sorry. Integer. Which is pretty damn big.
Why doesn't it accept the value though?
That I don't know.
I don't think it does decimals.
So I guess I can go to bullet. This is gonna be weird. But yeah, I could do that. So that player bullet. That's this. Like that. So when I shoot it, oh, there's no platform here. Activate it. Tell it not to move. What? Can't tell.
Oh, maybe the value number.
Oh, did I set the sprite render on the muzzle flash to be on the player layer? No, I didn't. So it seems like that.
That sounds funny. Player layer.
Player layer.
Player layer.
I think I see it. Yeah, it does appear, but it's kind of off. Oh well. Alright, that's it for the stream. Thanks for sticking around. I'll be back tomorrow.